I'm Julie Bartke with Session Update. Self-proclaimed techie geeks converged on the Capitol today for the first ever Robotics Day at the Capitol. And they weren't here looking for money from the legislature. They came to draw attention to who they are, what they do, and to raise awareness that robotics is the wave of the future.
This is Minnesota Robotics Day, and a group of industry leaders organized through Robotics Alley and with some companies and schools here in the state, in the Twin Cities, really wanted to put together an event where we could show the public, our governor and the legislature, what elements we have in this robotics industry locally that will help us seize future opportunities in growing economic markets.
I think it's fair to say that when one thinks of Minnesota, they don't necessarily think of a big booming robotic industry. So how do you take what's here and how are you trying to grow it specifically through legislation?
Well, right now we're not asking for legislation. What we all want to do is show the governor and the legislature and the public that these industry elements exist in the Twin Cities, and we're here to offer help. So that we can work together. Minnesota has a great legacy of public-private partnerships for economic growth. We have a very high, we may have the highest per capita Fortune 500 company organization of any metropolitan area in North America. So these are the kinds of things we just want to present opportunities and be here to help.
Explain to me a little bit more about this whole partnership with the students and where the schools fit into this the grand scheme.
Sure. If you think about it, the evolving ecosystem, if you will, has elements on the commercial side where robots are made and sold. We have companies that do that here in the Twin Cities. We have design here in the Twin Cities. You have research and development done at the University of Minnesota. You have technical training done at Minnesota State colleges and universities and a whole network of community colleges. And I think one of the most exciting things about when you look forward for future opportunities and future growth, Minnesota now has more robotics teams than varsity hockey teams in the high schools. And that's the future of this industry, kids that are tinkering with things and creating systems that work and help improve human life. These are the systems that will be the future of the industry and create new jobs in our region.
You just touched on it, jobs being that's a priority for both the DFL and the GOP and the governor. How do you parlay that? You're not asking for legislation specifically, but how do you parlay that idea into maybe helping the industry grow?
Well, and I think that's it. We just want to build awareness. If you open any major newspaper today, you start reading about things like healthcare robotics. You read about driverless cars and the expansion of that. You read about Amazon purchasing a company for $1 billion that's going to automate warehouses. So these technological revolutionary events are happening. We have the capacity in the Twin Cities to seize it and kind of ride the wave of growth that's coming. And that's why we just want to invite a public-private dialogue and really start integrating the pieces of the industry so we can be successful.
Well, I'm on a robotics team from Prior Lake, and we call ourselves King Tech Team 2169. And we are part of an organization called FIRST. And what FIRST does is it basically tries to get kids involved with science and technology. And it's a really big organization, and it has 4 different levels. And what we are FRC, which is like the highest level. And we build robots and we compete with them at competitions. But we also do other things, like we have different departments to our teams. We have things like marketing, and we have communications, and just other things other than robotics also.
Why do you think it's important to show off what you do and what everybody's doing here at the Capitol?
I think it's really important because this is setting us up for our future. We are the robotics kids are basically the future of the technological world because we're getting involved at such a young age. 5% of the world is involved in the STEM field, and we are the kids that are most likely to go into that field. So we're basically setting up to create the future.
I was just informed, and I had no idea that there's more robotics teams. There are more robotics teams than high school hockey teams in the state. Did you know that? And what does it feel like to be a part of such a big movement?
I think it feels really great to be a part of such a big movement because we really know we're making a difference that will have a long-lasting impact. So that not only are we creating new technological things, and we're just getting kids involved in a really young age.
So what do you want to say to other kids, especially since science and technology is so huge going into the future?
I'd like to say that it's really great to get involved with, and that I think it's really important that every kid has an opportunity like this to get involved with it so that they're really setting up their future.
Robotics Day at the Capitol wrapped just a few moments ago, but organizers say they plan to make this an annual tradition.